Battle control terminated.
And we are moving to Barf versus Orb semi-final. Yeah, the situation for the minions after the group stage was that three players, Barf, Smithy, and oh no, Blacken, Smithy, and Orb had the same number of points. So those guys needed to play tiebreakers, which were won by Orb, both of them. So if group stage is concerned, Orb took the first place, and the benefit of playing Barf as fourth player. And now we will see whether that played out for Orb.
Battle control
Having
initialized.
quote easier unquote opponent. Okay, there is a pause which we can skim through, hopefully. Okay, it's unpaused. For the first game we see Orb playing as Ukraine and Barf playing as Germany on the River of Gold, picked by random for this match as an opening up. Barf is doing pretty standard double refinery build, while Orb is opting for one rev build. And that's something interesting in by Barf. Fast move out. I don't really see a lot of point of that, but if only that's not a base push. And it probably is, right? So now Orb is short on rifles. He's pretty much vulnerable until he has 4 harvesters. And let's see. Yeah, now Orb saw the base push. We'll see how that plays out for Barf. Orb immediately moves. Well, I'm still pushing it 20%. 100%, sorry. Orb immediately moves out his MCV out of the way. Barf backs his turret with some rifles. And also has a forward harvester. And moving in construction yard as well, because it already was quite far away from doing anything significant. And Orb decided to sell his forward refinery to not give Barf any possible money for bounties. I don't know, it might work for Barf, but currently it looks like Barf will lose it because he just doesn't have enough juice to crunch through Orb defenses. Probably because Orb has already built up his economy and wait, what's that? That's a shortage of power for Orb, which actually means he will build low at that point, but now it's okay. But still, several precious seconds for Orb at low power, which gave Barf enough time to fortify this position. Now there is a turret, and Orb can't really afford a Tesla at this point, which would have been better defense against turrets and against rifles when there is some rifle backup. And that was a very forward war factory by Barf. So what I was saying, if there was a Tesla, that would have been good for Orb, but still he's managing to do good without it. And he's even building an MCV, an expansion MCV, while Barf is only building a pillbox and not even building any structures. Now he's not even building any defenses. Oh yeah, Orb saw that decision to build an MCV is not really a good one regarding the situation. So, what's the options for both players? Barf is at slightly better situation eco-wise, I think. Obviously, Orb is faster at gathering money because he has more harvesters, but then he only has one refinery, while Barf had 2 working ones and now has 3 working ones and 3 harvesters. And is even gathering from the same patch that Orb does. And what's more important is that Barf constantly presses Orb against his home base. And now that's an emergency escape from Orb, which probably means that the game is over because there is only rifles. There are some flame towers, of course, but there are defenses being built by Barf. And if that refinery goes down, that will mean the end of the game for Orb. It still might work, miraculously work for Orb though, because he has slightly better tech and he also has quite better economy as well. But then again, Barf has a war factory. Oh, and Barf actually went all in. At this point he saw that he doesn't need any more defenses, which probably was not a good move for Barf, because he is now only having barracks and a war factory at this position. And if these go down, then it will be an auto win for Orb, because no possibility for Barf to build anything. Another harvester goes down, 2 of them, exchanged on 2 light tanks, which was pumped by Barf because he doesn't have anything else to pump. Yeah, and Orb slowly builds up his base at this corner, and he probably even can gather some champs as well. And this Tesla is a no-go. absolute no-go for Barf. So I think Barf space push just faded, and now at this point it's almost a sure win for Orb. Yeah, the second problem for Barf is that his barracks got blocked by a Tesla fire. So now he only can produce rifles very far at his original main. Yeah, and that means GG. And I also forgot to change the caption. There's some chat, but we are we interested in that? Ah, okay, that was a accidental sell for MCV. Yeah, that's what cost it Barf this base push. Because you can't base push without a base. Second game, Barf picks Stanislav. Yeah, but previous game actually could have gone both ways. If not for that MCV cell, Barf could have pressed hard enough for Orb to crack. But that didn't happen, and Orb leads into this Masters playoff semifinal. Now it's Barf's turn to go one refinery into War Factory while Orb is building two refineries. Those players safely got the orders, but Orb is looking at destroying his opponent's Oderic at the top right corner. Probably though that's no, Barf went at the bottom road, so he's looking at getting that Oderic while his own Oderic gets destroyed. It somehow feels that Orb is slightly slow on his War Factory. I don't know, maybe it's just a feeling. Because Barf is already at Service Depot. Probably Orb invested too much into rifle slash rocket squad. And also lost an Oderic. which he will get back almost immediately. Yeah, I'm not mistaken. Orb has its low service depot now, so that will be 4 minute 30 MCV. If that's immediate MCV to be built by Orb, but that won't be because there is still a 20-second ore truck. Ah no, he cancelled the ore truck and just went MCV, so that will be 440. Which is still a bit slow. But then again, Barf... Oh no, Barf already expanded to the bottom right corner. And is already at building up medium tanks. And nothing really happening at this point, with players just building up armies. And Orb is moving his MCV just into the middle of the map, doing some Tesla camping. And that Tesla camping should probably be quite successful. At least one ore truck goes down. And then some rifles. Now quite a significant block goes down. And fortunately Orb doesn't have second Tesla core already at that stage, but he'll have one soon enough. Problem for Orb though is that he doesn't have any, only now he has an expansion which will probably go down just because there are no defenses, no army, and Barf all over the place at the bottom. Even having a radio dome, but then again there is a force from the top which will destroy that radar dome, that most forwardest radar dome of all radar domes. And that was something like a 4 months bait by Orb, placing a base there, and which he lost. But instead he got quite a lot of buildings and a radar dome. And those are only 2 artilleries that Barf managed to build before getting back to tier 1. But now Orb is out of any money at his main. He doesn't have an expansion MCV. He even lost another MCV in the middle, which means he is at single main MCV, and his ore patch is already dried out. The only option for him is long distance mining, bravely prevented by a single ranger. Now it's Orb's turn to build a radar dome. and those two artilleries have so much value, especially in such a position where they can get a lot of juicy hits into enemy infantry. And now Barf goes in. That's a typical Barf move. Placing every single rifle and technician into a huge blob and attacking right through the middle. We see that there are some vetoes by Orb because he got a radar dome, but I think yeah, it should be enough for Orb to sustain defense. And he got some emergency mining operation going in the top left corner. Now he just needs to build up on that and move MCV and get some more refineries, because he will soon get a problem with that, yeah, with ore trucks moving to other refineries because they can't dock on this one. And actually, it's Barf who's slightly slacking on his mining department, because he even lacks proper ore truck count. Now we've got some artilleries out in the open. Which was a very nice move for him, because now Barf needs to build up some A guns just to try and scrape those yaks from the sky. That's what he is up to. Because until he does that, he can't move and he can't even produce artilleries. The only problem is that Orb's yaks are nowhere to actually matter at this point, because there is already an AA gun and they just fly somewhere in the top. Probably though, Orb is preparing some attack on Barf's base, but I don't know about that. Yeah, he switched back. Okay, there is quite a fast turn curtain for Orb. Quickly progressing to tier 3, but losing service depot to Heinz, which means no medium tanks. And that was a smart attack. Just delaying Barf at attacking his main, or attacked Barf's main, just destroyed it, and Barf sold everything. That's a very upsetting move by Orb. And given that he also has an Iron Curtain, power bombs ready in 1 minute, and he's looking at destroying one of the MCVs for Barf. I think it tipped pretty much into Orb's favor. Unfortunately, he will lose. He will probably lose all his tanks because he has no rifle cover for them. Yeah, but still he managed to got an MCV. And Barf has a shit ton of artilleries, but can't, or should I say, doesn't really use them. Just standing in the back. Barf even decided to switch to Mammon tanks. We'll see about that. I think he could have chosen something less expensive and more agile, like a heavy tank. And I don't know about this attack. There's tens and tens of infantry dies. And now a huge pack of artillery goes down to some yaks, and two more, which was a nice trade-off. Two artilleries against one yak is a pretty good offer. And if now, yeah, fortunately Barf was lucky for his MCV not getting into a power bomb run by Orb, but still that MCV looks to no. The gun goes down. Okay, this MCV goes down. And Barf got GG. And you know what? It's 2-0 for Orb.
Battle control.
Which
terminated.
leaves Barf in a pretty bad position with Orb. Orb having
Battle control initialized.
only one game separating him and the final of Masters League and a possible championship. But that game still needs to be won, and needs to be won against Barf. And Barf picked racetracks. I guess planning something juicy on it, because you don't really play much conventional on this map just because it's so small, and these corner O patches are very exposed for both parties. So again we see Orb opting for a Last War Factory, and by again I mean the game Yunana against Eskimo. So maybe we'll see same stuff that was in that game. That Barf will do a base push. Barf could have placed barracks at the bottom here and then progress into this SOAR patch, but instead he opted for a double ref at this patch, which is slightly worse because there is only a single mine at this patch, which means later in the game only a single ref is required, so you do benefit from a better access to this patch from both sides, and especially on this side. But then later in the game you don't need that refinery and you need to build additional ones at the bottom of your marine or here at the top. Again, nothing really much happening in this game, and we see Barf building a light tank instead of Ranger. Ranger that he's quite famous with, I think. But at this point he decided to the light tank probably to catch Orb's black truck. He didn't do a good job with it. Then he is looking at quite a nice harassment here on Orb trucks because there is no defense for Orb, only building up some APCs. And who was that? Well, those are quite damaged to our trucks, but still not getting down. He's even tries to repair it, but can't repair it because he has no money. And that's what you can see about the one mine patch. If you have two refineries, it quickly dries out and then you don't need one. And then you also need that one refinery be better placed than this, because that's two additional cells for or truck to move. And somehow Orb doesn't have anything against this small infantry regiment by Barf. Finally he destroyed it, but a lot of mining time wasted. And I don't think, well, he got benefited in SS count from that destroyment, but at the same time lost a lot of time not mining properly, which you probably can see on this graph, the dip. And now Barf also blocked expansion MCV from Orb, who also went the same side. And IPC died at the top. So now Orb doesn't have a proper expansion. Tries to crunch his way through Barf's defenses, but I don't think it's possible with that much, that big pillbox count. And there is also a side attack by Barf, a very smart move, because that's pretty much the only money source for Orb. And now he is also stopped at Catherine Z, which will mean that that was a pillbox. Barf needs a power plant. So that's another 30 seconds or so. Well, just yeah, 30 seconds. Not mining at all from this patch. And on this patch, it's only some breadcrumbs of ore that cannot maintain the needed production rate for ore. He's still floating 5k from nothing. Means that he forgot to build anything. Yeah, he doesn't build from ore factory, from barracks. He only started to build just recently. And he sold all his refineries, and probably barracks was here too. And that's looking at desperate attack from Orb. And this MCV is so dead. Yeah. Orb needs money. It needs money very fast. Because otherwise he'll quickly get behind Barf on economy. And also he couldn't afford to trade any of his army because that's the only army he has left. He can't really produce much this time. And he can afford losing this MCV because that was the only expansion. Okay.
Battle control
Barf
terminated.
clawed 1 point back from Orb, and now is at losing just 1-2. It's still, of course, best of 5. Oh no. And we see at
Battle control
Orb
initialized.
finally picking the Barf divide, the mob that Barf hates so much, just because of its sheer size. And what we see from Barf, we see a fast engineer. We will probably see some dogs, maybe? I don't know. Actually, dogs are Orb specialty, usually, not Barf's. Barf's specialty is using Rangers early game. And currently he has none because he's playing Russia. Well, Orb opted for, I think they both picked random. Yeah, any? No, actually Barf picked Russia. And Barf using dogs. Barf picking Russia is just yes, exactly. That's basically shitting into the face of Orb with dogs, because he's doing exactly the same that Orb is notorious at. Russia and dogs. And now he picked an engineer from Orb. Yeah, exactly, losing 500. That early engineer was very important for Orb because he's not able to get this expansion and is not able to get any vision, of course. And also that's just 500 money wasted. So both players. No, I think Corp went into Pasta War Factory and Barf went Refinery Cell just because the amount of ore trucks. Now Barf's engineer is free to do pretty much what he wants until it gets destroyed by a ranger, but ranger still needs to cover a lot of ground to get here, and he doesn't even have that opportunity because if he's dead, or it is dead. If we're talking about a ranger as a vehicle, if we talk about the ranger as a passenger or driver on that vehicle, then not it. Probably them, because there are two of, because no one can drive and shoot from a top weapon at the same time. So supposedly there are two people in a single ranger. I don't know how they even fit into that, because if you check, the light tank is just enough for a single person to lie into it. Yes, Mitty. You pretty much need to make a map for the contest if you want to enter the contest, because the deadline for map submission is 10th of August, if I remembered correctly. Not 8th of October. Yeah, and I should have probably written it in text, not in dates, just not to confuse American people that use funny date formats. And while talking about that, we see Orbs light tank department obliterating power plant, but now actually getting obliteration from a single Tesla coil. Oh wow, that's a lot of APCs moving in here. Barf even prepared a concrete wall, probably light tanks, but I don't really know about that. And that's a lot of barracks right into the main of Orb. And again, Orb is forced to move anywhere but the proper expansion. And also Orb is short of money, because Barf was lucky to get both forward commands, means he doesn't even need any fast service depot, just build a lot of APCs and drove all that shit into Orb's main. Now we are seeing some Chinook getting oil derricks behind the bridges, which might give some edge for Orb into this game, a way back into the game, I should say, because assets-wise, Barf is leading, eco-wise, Barf is leading, harvesters-wise, Barf is leading, army-wise, Barf is leading. And now Barf will also get this MCV cornered, especially cornering it on bridge. Yeah, it's that. That was the only expansion MCV for Orb, leaving him back at single MCV. Barf doesn't give Orb any chance at recovering it, destroying the husk. Interestingly enough, Barf didn't have any service depot at all in this game. I wonder if it will be enough money-wise, because he's already short on money. Well, not really short, he's at 5k, but I should say he is short on Mind War. Still, he's looking strong, not allowing Orb to expand anywhere, and periodically blocking the main double mine. So what he's doing is strangling Orb to death on this map, not giving him any possible map control. And now there is a move-in, and I think this move-in will be enough, because Orb's army was a bit outpositioned. No. Well, he could have done something. At least destroying the helipad would do. But that army won't even do that, unfortunately. Still, got one find. Oh wow, there is an engineer from Orb, a sneaky one. He could have gotten a Soviet tech sensor as well, but got destroyed by a Yak. Practically, Yak trampled him over. And Orb is... no, not Orb. Barf is already at tier 3. Having an Iron Curtain. Driving a single Mammoth tank for purposes unknown. Just into Orb space. Yeah, still Orb is very short on money. Should have been, at least. instead we see that there was a problem for Barf actually, because he hit the point that I was talking about. He had no expansion MCDs and he already gathered all the possible ore he could have, which means his pressure on orb is over for at least several minutes. Well, not several minutes, but at least 1-2 minutes. Well, orb is getting his own mammoth tanks. Tank at least one, or maybe two. No, one. Yaks were just in time to deny orb his second mammoth tank. This game as written. Now Barf sees expansion. Lonely expansion from orb. Unfortunately for Barf, he can't do nothing about that expansion because he doesn't have any forces to destroy that. Doesn't mean he can use some paratroopers. Barely killing the or actually barely not killing an ore truck. Yeah, and as I was saying about Barf's expansion planning, he allowed orb to grease safely for some time. Now Barf is destroying Orb's mammoth tank, which he got from Barf himself. Well, so at this point it looks quite even for both sides. Barf still better at assets, but Barf's Barf also got the right side. So now Barf is also looking at economy dominance. That's the whole map, not just in the beginning. Our sword trucks still try to gather some ore, and that was either a bait or just a lucky coincidence that Tesla Quill range was enough to kill some rifles that were targeting ore trucks. And again we see that Orb is pretty much strangled for economy, only having 1.5 proper expansions, while Barf is gathering ore from the same count, but also from this and this expansion. So his Barf is 2 mines up on orb. Orb tanks are nice, but I don't feel they can do any significant damage into this base, and instead would have been better used as a typical orb tank flank somewhere on those expansions on the right. Yeah, now it's completely backwards because Barf also has an iron curtain based on some Tesla tanks. go now when Iron Curtain fades out. No, still, Barf had enough critical mass to destroy the MCV, and that MCV, of course, was very important for Orb, because now he doesn't have any influence on this side of the map as well. From this point on, it will be a downhill for Orb, because he'll lose his another vital expansion. Still need to remember that there are 4 oil derricks, all taken by Orb with a Chinook, which means he still has some lifeline on the money source. Yeah, and as you can see, Orb just has 4 harvesters. While Barf's at 10 and counting. And we see Barf transition into shock troopers. No, it won't be enough because Iron Curtain is fired on itself. Well, rather the jammer, perfect counter to mix. And we see Orb forgetting about a single hind at the bottom of the map. Probably it was forgotten while getting bottom rifles or bottom infantry destroyed from Barf. And Orb is having an atom bomb, which can be a way back into this game for Orb, but that nuke should be a perfect placement, like destroying all this, including the Iron Curtain, but I don't think Barf will allow that. Or even I don't even see how Barf will allow atom bomb firing at all. Because there is no air defense, and we already saw Barf having some air presence, while Orb has no longbows and no A guns probably placed around. And there is Tanya transport. Not exactly used to its full potential for a good minute or two. And now it's a bit too dangerous because there is a Tesla coil. Some happening is happening. It's left side of the map. Refinery and ore truck get destroyed, or rather exchanged, probably with the Tanya, but then Tanya got crushed by an ore truck. Even if not that, it would have died to yak fire. A nice flanking by Barf, so and still no action taken by Orb to destroy that flank. And at the same time, Barf is attacking on the main side. Destroying a war factory is not exactly the biggest loss for Orb, but destroying the tech center is. Now Orb is forced to also disable power. No. Yeah, he has just enough. And that's what I meant for destroying the flank by Barf. Because Orb didn't deal with that, and that's why he lost an ore truck on the left, and still hasn't done anything on that blob. Now that blob is looking at destroying an MCV for Orb, another left expansion MCV, and then packing it was even worse, because there are a lot of shock troopers, and shock troopers suck at destroying bases, but at destroying light armor they are much better. And now all the expansion hopes go down for Orb. And there is a huge mountain force. I think it will definitely be enough to destroy service depot, radar dome, missile silo, Anya, Orb just asking for a GG from Orb. Just built 6 mount tanks and Orb GGs.
Battle control.
And we are 2-2 in this match. So there is a match decider. In the last game, which is played on Shadowfiend.
Battle control initial.
Picked by Orb, of course, because he has the benefit of loser's pick. And into the last game. Last game of this match. And highly likely the last game of this stream as well. We are seeing Orb playing as Soviet, not his probably primary faction, Russia, but still Soviet, and having several dogs around the map, and while opting for no barracks, war factory, right away. Barf has been a bit more conventional, with just a simple barracks into single refinery into war factory. One ref built for a slightly faster economy. But maybe should have been not that fast, but instead Barf was fast enough to have it some seconds faster than Orb's refinery. And now Orb has built barracks. Probably barracks got delayed. So far, Orb's dogs earned exactly $0 their worth, while Barf's Ranger earned 500. And then again, quite a lot of light tanks built in this recently casted replays. I think I haven't seen that many light tanks for a long time. Probably never. Or maybe from the time I watched replays played on patches. And those light tanks actually played a great role in this game because they destroyed the only expansion MCV for Orb, while Barf is already expanded with his own. Orb should have opted for a mechanic. Probably he forgot about that. Instead, building another MCV. But then again, if he only thinks about moving here, that would be a disastrous move. He instead moved at the bottom, but then Orb missed army at the top by Barf, which meant he lost a harvester. Now he's losing only refinery in this place. Again, not really the best choice of refinery placement. Listen to refineries on a single mine. Okay, so he destroyed the forces of Barf at the top, but then another MCV gets destroyed, and I think at this point Orb just thinks, fuck it, I'm lost. Because he has absolutely nothing in his sleeves to get this game back. And what a comeback by Barf, playing from losing 2 games and then winning all 3 in a row. That's a very massive. Well, actually he hasn't won yet, but I think it will soon happen because that match lost MCVs. Where's it match? It's many countable stuff. I don't know. Probably it's because it's 11:30 already at my time. Yeah, so anyway, to complement 2 lost MCVs, Orb has already lost an army. And since that he has 3rd MCV to build, it doesn't look good. Just says that Barf wins this game and this match and is into the Masters final, and Orb is not. Because at this point Barf have been afforded himself an expansion right into Orb space. 3rd MCV, and if that 3rd MCV gets down, well, doesn't have to. It was just a GG by Orb. Yeah, what a comeback. And also a very nice comeback by Barf. I almost didn't believe in him after he placed 4th in group stage. But now he paid this back with a winning, with a strong win against Orb. And seeing that semi-final, I think that's all for this stream. We had 2 very interesting semi-finals. Median semi-final between Eskimo and Yunano, with I should definitely say with a surprising result. And then we already had a semi-final between Barf and Orb, with a not so surprising result, but still, considering the placement in the group stage, it was somewhat surprising. So that's it. Now I should also remind you about the ongoing map contest, because it's already into the half, into the second half of map submission phase, but still only a small count of maps being uploaded. I hope there will be more, especially that Football World Cup is over and now people have much more time to also share with creating some maps instead of just playing in the sun in the summer, somewhere on the beach, on the island, the middle of Pacific Ocean or something. Well, even considering that, you can still have a notebook or actually a laptop there and draw a map lying on the beach in the middle of Pacific Ocean or whatever you wanted to do, just do some quality maps and submit them to map contests. That's a product placement advertisement for you on this stream. And with that, I'm to conclude the stream. Maybe I will stream other available games already played in the playoffs. Maybe not, but I will definitely stream some map testing in the future. Maybe as early as next week already, because we already have, as I said, we already have a couple of maps that might be interesting. And in the future there is also a freeze period where map authors can upload new revisions but can't upload new maps to the map contest. So that was will be a period of thorough testing, some updates by mappers. Hopefully the thorough testing will be concluded not only by me but also by maybe by judges or by streamers. Actually, everyone is welcome to help us on that mission. So, thank you for watching and see you next time.